Hello and welcome to you, beautiful moms.
Yes.
It is almost December, Denise. Can you believe it?
Yes.
The year end is upon us.
Oh,
and
can't wait.
God has been good and God has been so faithful to us, right?
Yes, definitely.
Last week we had a conversation on family healing, right? Healing in the family. And only God can heal and deliver your family from all past traumas and wounds. Your family can be everything God has designed it to be.
Amen. But today we are going to, in fact, this month, we're talking about motherhood. And
Yes.
today's talk is basically about motherhood myths. Yes, those things that are like, is that a myth? Is that not a myth? Kind of thing. You've been told, but have you experienced it? Not really. So is it true kind of thing? So our content is based on www.newmomcollective.com. This blog is basically what we are talking about today. And she basically says, before giving birth, we imagine life with a new baby. Wonder, amazement, the sweet smell of baby skin, feeling more in love than ever with our partner. People tell you it's going to be so amazing. Are you going to glow? It's going to be awesome. The reality of life with a new baby often doesn't match this ideal. How many times?
True.
Okay, I've only experienced it twice in my life, but because I only got 2 kids. But all the glam looks really glamorous and wonderful, especially with those moms who really just, really do it well, cover up really well. I'm going to say cover up because I'm just going to assume we all have our bad moments. The difference between your expectations and the reality can cause you to question yourself as a mother.
Very
so
true.
looking at someone going, they have it all together. They look amazing. Look at me. Instead of going, hang on, there's certain things in the background. It's kind of like looking at Instagram and Facebook and going, oh, look at their life. It's so nice. But they're taking pictures of all the great moments. There's possibly 100 more terrible moments, And she also goes on to say, maybe I wasn't cut out, thinking about, maybe I wasn't cut out to be a mother. Am I a bad mother? You've probably questioned yourself on this. If you have ever had these thoughts, please read these myths of motherhood. So we're going to go through them one by one.
Yes. Number 1, a good mother gives birth naturally without medical interventions. Birth plans are a great way to communicate your wishes to your laborer or your deliverer for the delivery experience, right? However, your birth plan will have to be modified during the actual event.
Yeah.
This can be difficult if you had hopes for delivery naturally, maybe. Unplanned interventions such as C-section or use of vacuums or forceps can be discouraging. Pain and disappointment with the delivery make the adjustment to motherhood even more difficult. Please remember, though, that you cannot always control what happens during birth. These events have absolutely no bearing whether you'll be a good mother or not.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, no. I really wanted to have natural birth, and the doctor was like, no, dude, you're not going to have natural birth. And I was like, no, but can't I just wait for a little bit longer just to see? And he was like, no. And I'm like, do I argue right now? Or what do I do? And you just don't argue, unless you're really convicted. I don't know. Next one, a good mother feels an instant bond with her baby at birth. Right, so many women report feeling love for their baby immediately after birth. Other women are surprised to feel nothing at all, right? So it depends on hormones. These things happen just because you don't feel a bond. And I'm tying to this word feel because the Bible talks about feel, right?
Very good.
Just because you don't feel it doesn't mean it is not there. It's like in a marriage, and tonight we were in training and we spoke a little bit about marriage. It's like, you get married and there's all these wonderful feelings, and then the feelings go away and all of a sudden you shouldn't be married anymore because the feelings are gone. No, right? If you're feeling disconnected from your baby, you are not alone. Women have told us Women have told us it took several days, weeks, or even months to begin to feel that bond, right? We all know there's postpartum depression and all of that. again, hormones and all of that takes hold of you. As you spend time with your baby and you get to know each other, the feelings will come. So sometimes even you as a mother may not have expected this, may not have expected the experience. You thought it would be easier, but it really wasn't easier. Now that affects your feelings, but don't let those feelings be affected. Just keep pushing through. If you are not connecting with your baby the way you thought you would, talk to a healthcare professional, right? So if you really are struggling and you really are worried, then speak to someone. The feeling of disconnection can be a symptom of postpartum depression.
Number 3, all other mothers are coping much better than me. I thought that at some point. In our society, we are not always good at letting people know the truth about our feelings. It is easy to put on a smile and say everything is fine, when in reality, you are barely coping. You may assume your friends are handling motherhood like pros. Why can't I do that when it's so easy for everyone else? In truth, you are measuring yourself against an image that is not based in reality. You do not see what goes on your friends' closed doors. Try having an honest conversation with another new mother that you trust. It can be reassuring to hear that you are not alone.
Next one is, a good mother always puts the needs of her children and partner ahead of her own. Well, yes, this is probably a motherly instinct that happens. And it's not to say that you as a mother should not be taking care of yourself. I don't think your husband or your child will be very appreciative of you if you go around not bathing yourself for the next 2, 3 or 6 weeks because you just feel like you can't, right? It's really not like that. Mothers often feel guilty taking time for themselves. It is easy to believe that being a good mother means devoting yourself to the needs of your partner and your children. And it really is important to do this because you're the mom, right? But it also doesn't mean that your children and your husband expect you to always do everything all the time. Okay, well, maybe they act like they do, but they don't. Chances are they're probably not doing it intentionally. And where you do struggle, make sure that you take a little bit of time for yourself if you need to. Ask a friend to babysit. Ask your husband if he wouldn't mind babysitting. It is a busy time and it's really, really hard to take care of a child that you've never taken care of, especially as a first-time mom, by yourself. So just make sure. There's a nice little example here of if you're in a plane and, the plane's, let's not say going down, let's just say it's got a bit of a problem. The oxygen mask comes down, right? And what do they say? They say put it on yourself first before you put it on your child. You need the oxygen before you can help someone. It's no use giving the child the oxygen, there you are dying and the thing falls off the child. It's the same thing here. Make sure that you give time also for yourself, but don't neglect your family. It's not saying neglect. It's saying it's okay to take a bath. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to eat something. That kind of thing.
Recently what I've started doing, and I thought to myself, why didn't you do this long time ago? When you're a mom, it's very difficult to drink a cup of tea when it's still hot. You warm it maybe at least 20 times before you actually drink the cup, and at some point it tastes terrible. You're like, wow, I don't want this. So this week, in fact, for the past 2 weeks, I've been asking my husband to look after the kids. I'll be in the room just drinking my cup of tea. It's been so lovely. And I thought to myself, why didn't you do this long time ago? It's not like he was like, no, you can't. He said, no, it's no problem. Good. And I sat there and I drank, the warm cup of tea with no interruptions, trying, to hold a child with someone trying to jump at me or anything. So it was good. You can ask for help. A good mother has a clean house and cooks supper every night. Looking after a newborn is time consuming. A newborn feeds at least 10 to 12 times a day and will probably require as many diaper changes. The feeding and diapering alone can take up to 12 hours a day.
Wow.
I didn't know this. It was mind-blowing because it did feel like it's a lot.
Yeah.
And you haven't even had a shower or eaten, done laundry or bathed your baby. No wonder you have no time to cook and clean.
Yeah.
One person cannot deal with all of it. In some cultures, a mother or female relative stay with the new family to manage the house task. This frees up a new mom to rest and care for her baby. Unfortunately, not all families get the support. Keep the meals simple. The sandwiches and fruit make a great supper as well. Order in once in a while, if it's in your budget, if that allows. Ignore the household work as much as possible. Your home will be clean eventually. Right now, you are just too busy. Focus only on the essentials.
Yeah.
Dishes do not need to be done after every meal. And if I can say, like in our church family, it's something we do so well. I mean, you guys did this for me, our team. So Denise cooked for me one night, and someone else would cook for me. Like for 2 weeks, I was able to adjust because people were actually helping me out. So if you don't have a family that does that, there's actually a church family that helped me greatly. And I'm now able to do that for other women. We do it almost all the time as a team now, a team of girls, where we understand that a new mom needs the extra. It's not a lot, but it helps like a great deal to cook that mother one meal.
Yeah. So do that for a friend, right?
Absolutely.
So the last one is a good mother instinctively knows how to care for her baby, right? No mom, I'm pretty sure, is like really good at knowing exactly what to do and how to do it. You know, you've often got water in the child's eye, and now you're like poking it with your nice little nails that you have done. And no one is perfect. And I remember having my baby, my first baby, and I was taught how to clean the child. I was taught how to wash my little baby. It's okay to be taught, right? Mothering is a learned skill. We don't immediately know how to soothe and care for our babies as soon as they are born. That's where our pastor helped. That's where I remember being in the mother's room and I was overwhelmed, and Tando would take my baby and I would take her baby, and you share the load. If you aren't sure why your baby's crying, you're not alone. The process of elimination often works best. Is baby hungry, need a diaper change, lonely, needs to be close? You'll learn the cries of your baby and what works for them. It's not an instinct. I just say, I still don't understand the whole baby cry thing. So if you're a mother and you understand that, good for you. Good for you. But I still don't.
To know. It's a mystery.
I'm still okay, that's the same cry as the last time. What are we going to do this time? Right.
Your diaper is changed. You are fed. Yes. You are okay. What else?
Elimination process done. Now it's just what do you call it? Attitude. It's attitude and tantrum throw. That's what that is. Okay, we're going to end off. 1 John 4 verse 1-6 says, my dear friends, don't believe everything you hear. Carefully weigh and examine what people tell you. Not everyone who talks about God comes from God. Now, I know we have made this, light-hearted, and my myth, myth may not be your myth kind of thing, because everyone's experiencing these things differently to every other mom, right? But the words tells us, relating to God, that we should be careful of what we listen to. Good. So what are you listening to? The Bible talks about the false prophets. Firstly, make sure you are not acting as a false prophet, speaking from your own opinion, right? You shouldn't be speaking from opinion, but also don't just believe all you hear about things from people. So it's not always going to be true. Your child is not always going to do what that other child did. Every child is different. Every situation is different. Get to the word. Get to God. Pray and seek Him, and then the answers will come from Him and Him alone. Really, and often our pastor is saying, and in fact our pastor said it tonight, you don't just listen to a preacher and go, oh, okay, that's the gospel. No, you go and find out for yourself. You read your Bible, and then you go, what he was speaking was correct. Same thing with life situations. Don't look at people and go, oh, that's the gospel. You actually find out for yourself. So yes, that is it for today.
That is it.
It's a Mom's Life here on Active FM, so where we live, laugh and love on Active FM. Yes, we'll check you. So you better check us out on Facebook.
Yes.
Tando, we shall see you
next week. Next week, definitely.
Bye.